Hello everyone, Jose here. This is my video for week 6 discussion. So question number 1 was just to go into any of the information from the weekly readings. I chose to just briefly summarize some of the findings from the 2016 Employee Job Satisfaction and Engagement Executive Summary. Um, so according to this analysis, the top 5 most important factors in job satisfaction were as follow: the respectful treatment of employees. Number 2, the pay or compensation of the job. Number 3 were benefits. 4, job security, and tied for 5 were opportunities to use skills and abilities, and the trust between employees and senior management. So this is a list that I would mostly agree with. Some might argue that pay compensation might usually be number 1, but I can understand that if you're in a position where you're not being treated, you don't feel like you're being treated fairly or respectfully, uh, regardless of the pay, it won't bring you satisfaction being in that position. What is your take on how employee attitudes are related to lateness? Reflect on your own behavior. So, Koslowski et al. Found that in their study found that lateness was most closely associated with the other components of withdrawal behavior. They defined withdrawal as a set of behaviors employees use in an attempt to remove themselves from job or avoid work. So the findings of this article made a lot of sense. No one wants to be in a job they don't enjoy, and it can be a challenge just waking up in the morning and knowing that you're going to this unsatisfactory job. um, and it's understandable that an employee would partake in withdrawal behavior, which could be spending long periods of extended periods of times away from your desk, or even try to avoid people or coworkers which may be contributing to uh, the job dissatisfaction. Um, it does ask to reflect on your own behavior. So I wouldn't consider myself a late person, but I can definitely relate to being in a position where I don't feel satisfied with my job, and it can be a challenge to kind of just get up in the morning. Um, and that kind of feeling may have contributed to a lateness, a handful of times. Number 2, how committed are you to your current job? Why? Um, so I feel I'm very committed to my current job, and I also feel like this question is gonna tie into the next question a little bit. But the reason I feel committed at my current job is because my goals are aligned with what I am trying to achieve, or at least what I was trying to achieve, because for a long time my goal was to to advance in clinical psychology. I'm kind of going into a different direction now in IO psychology, but it's still an area that um, I'm interested in and I enjoy. Um, Other reasons could be because of the flexibility for me to make my own schedule. Um, I would consider the pay to be a bit better than what most bachelor level degree holders might find in this field, in the case manager social work fields. And my ability to kind of utilize my interpersonal skills, critical thinking, and for the most part, I'm doing these things unsupervised, so there's minimal micromanagement involved. So I might touch a little bit more on this on question number 2. So what person and job environment variables are most important for person job fit? Give examples in which different people in identical jobs react differently, and in which you reacted identically or differently at different jobs. What are the underlying reasons for the different reactions? So let me start off by just summarizing workplace emotion summary, which was provided to us. So, according to the summary, there are 5 parts to job characteristics, which are skill variety, referring to the skills necessary to do the job, task identity, which is whether an employee is doing the whole job himself or parts of the job, task significance, which is the impact an employee might have on other people, autonomy, which is the degree of freedom an employee has, and task feedback is whether it's or it refers to the extent to whether it's obvious to employees whether they are doing their jobs correctly. And then person job fit was essentially referring to whether the individual is a good match with the job based on his or her individual characteristics. So let me just go back here. So what are most important variables? I believe are, like I mentioned, and why I'm committed to my current job is that whether a person's goals are aligned with that of the organization. Um, Also, like what skills or what education you have, and whether that is aligned with what the task, what the job entails. So I can give an example. Recently, we had someone, leave the job, and I think it had a lot to do with their dissatisfaction, as they were actually an accounting major for this position, which I'm a mental health worker. Usually, you need a bachelor's psychology or related field. So his skills were more towards numbers, and in this field, I think you need to utilize more like your interpersonal skills, and so if your skills don't align with that of the job, that's really going to play a significant factor into your satisfaction. Um, so how have I reacted at different jobs? Okay, so I can speak to my own experience. My previous job, I was very unsatisfied, as well, for several reasons. One was the pay, which I feel was kind of similar to what someone just with just a high school degree could could get. I also felt like my skills were being grossly underutilized, and for the most part, I felt more like a file clerk than a social worker or case manager. It was a lot of paperwork and not enough hands on with the client. You know, so I think that is it for me. Thank you, guys.